I've had several friends ask me about art supplies. They've been wanting to start painting, weren't sure where to start, what to buy. They're non-artists, so I thought I would do a quick video to just suggest some things to get started. First, we're going to talk about surfaces to paint on. I think if you're going to get one thing to start off and just experiment, I would go with mixed media paper. That is, you can do quite a bit with it. You can use different mediums on it. You can use acrylic, watercolor, you can water it down, you can use it dry, you can use pencil, collage on it, all kinds of stuff. So that might be a good place to start. You can test out just different ways of using the paints on it. Watercolor paper is a great suggestion too. It works totally different. It's absorbent. You will see the how different the paints work on it. So if you're going to get a couple of things to play on, which I emphasize play because it should be fun, you might want to try some watercolor paper as well. This is just a pad of regular paper, I believe. I probably bought this at Michael's or something. If you're going to try and paint something that you might want to hang on your wall, if you want to just play, experiment, and it might come out great, that you want to hang on your wall, I suggest the canvas. You don't need to frame those. I usually get the gallery wrapped. They're a little bit thicker. You can get thinner than this, and it's a little bit cheaper. But the canvases are usually pre-gessoed, so you can just paint straight on it. And so if you're going to have something to hang on your wall, this might be a great idea. I would suggest start on paper, just so you can see how the paint works. Just to experiment and play and just be loose. One thing I've found is that sometimes trying to make something on more expensive materials may stop you from just letting loose and being creative. When I started, I was worried about wasting money on good supplies, so it stopped me from just experimenting. So I would just start with paper. It will mentally just not be as intimidating, I think. Next, I'm going to go over some brushes. There's all different kinds. If you're starting out, I would suggest to just get one of those packs with a bunch of different ones. There is something to good quality brushes, but if you're just starting out, that is going to be perfect, just to at least see how the materials work. You can get the ones with more square-shaped brush that you can do straight edges. You can do the ones that are a little bit rounded. Some are softer or harder bristles, so it just works differently on the paper. You can use the sponge brushes. You can get these really cheap at Home Depot. You can use palette knives. If you use the heavier bodied paints that are thicker, you can just use this to put them on there. You can even use these big old spatulas to spread it around. That works. I even save all kinds of items to make marks in the paint while it's still wet, like old hair pick. So you can use just about anything. A lot of my paintings, I just plain use my hands. And like on that, it was pretty much all done with my hands. So anyway, you don't even need the fancy brushes to start off. As far as paints, I use all kinds of different brands. There's something to the brands that are a little bit better because of the pigment content. But they can still vary in price. If you're starting out, you can always find golden colors just about anywhere. I use some Holbein. I can't get these at Jerry's necessarily, but Dick Blick and Cheap Joe's have Holbein. And I use Nova Color paints that are from California. They're online only. If you email them, they will send you a sheet with all the actual paints on them, so you can see the real color. The one thing is that these are a little bit thinner body than, I would say, the golden. But it just depends on what you want to try and do with them. So I would say experiment maybe with some of the stuff you can find. Liquitex is also good. But I would use the ones with not the kid brands. The pigment content is not as deep, and you may be disappointed. So I'm going to say if you want to try and play around them paint, spend a little bit extra. You can get the smaller tubes of golden or Liquitex. Favorite colors? I would definitely get, first of all, black and white. I use carbon black and titanium white. And some of my favorite colors are quinacridone magenta. I'm not really good at pronunciating. Phthalo green, phthalo blue, phthalo turquoise, and cadmium yellow. And all-time favorite is the dioxazine violet from Holbein. I was lucky enough to get a big jar. I can't find these big jars anymore. The pigment content in this color is amazing. But most of these colors you can mix with the others and they make really pretty colors. Not all colors play well together. Definitely not all blues and yellows make a pretty green. So these that I mentioned are the ones that work pretty well together. The phthalo blue and the cadmium yellow make a beautiful green. This blue and the magenta make a beautiful purple. And the yellow and the magenta make a beautiful orange. So when you mix them together, they play pretty well together. Not all the colors do that, and I've learned the hard way. But those are great suggestions for colors, just to get started. You can also try some watercolors. I don't use watercolors much. I have seen that actually the Crayola brand watercolors that you can get at the grocery store actually have a pretty good pigment content if you want to play with that. But if you're going to do something bigger, I would probably play with the acrylics. Um, One thing I love having is a squirt bottle for my water. I like using it to just wet it down or to make the paint drip. But I think that is all I can think of right now. I will probably do some additional videos with just different techniques that would be fun to try out. So, but I suggest just get some of these and play around with them and see what you think. Just get the feel for the paint. Use them watered down, less watered down, and just see what they do. Just totally play, because that is when it's going to spark your creativity. And from that, you will get ideas, and you will like just one little thing, and you'll want to do that more. So definitely play, definitely have fun. This is supposed to be fun. And I definitely don't take my painting way too seriously, because what's the point in that? So anyway, stay tuned for some more videos, and enjoy painting. For more information about my art, please check out my website at gretaolivas.com or find me on social media.